Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for Lions FC and Gold Coast Knights.
Well, good evening and welcome to Lions Richlands for the National Premier League's Queensland. It feels good to say that. It feels good to have football back on our screens at the local level, and we've got a real cracker for you in the belated start to this National Premier League's Queensland season as Lions, the two-time reigning champions, take on Gold Coast Knights, the last team aside from Lions to win the championship back in 2019. Good evening, I'm Simon Smale, and it is a pleasure to be here with you tonight on a pretty cool evening by Queensland standards. Should be all set for some thrilling action on the pitch though, because Lions and Knights, two of the premier teams in the competition, Lions in particular, they've won 2 championships in the last 2 years. Add to that the championship they won in 2018. They've made finals in all 4 years that they have been in the National Premier Leagues. Gold Coast Knights, so they've had a pretty good record as well. They were champions in 2019. That was the first year that they were in the league. They then backed that up with a 3rd place finish in 2020, and they finished just outside the finals last year under Max Ragg, who took over from Adam Porridge. A new era though at Knights. Scott McDonald, former Socceroo, taking charge for the first time in a competitive match. We'll just run you quickly through the teams. Aidan Munford will start in goal, making his competitive debut for Lions. In number 2 will be Andy Thompson. Number 3, another debutant, Jackson Hart-Phillips. Number 4, yet another, Hassan Ramazani. Both of those two coming over from the Raw, changing shades of orange. Tommy Jarrett, the ever-present though, he will be wearing the number 5 shirt. Number 6 and number 9, both debutants as well. Matt Redenton, the former New Zealand international and latterly of the Brisbane Roar in the A-League's men's competition, and Andy Pengelly, who some say probably should be in the A-League men's competition. He has made the switch from Peninsula Power in the off-season. Joe Duckworth will wear number 10. Number 12 will be Sean Carlos, who's also the captain. Number 18, Zach Maltby, and number 20, Jean Carlos Solozano, another former international. Gold Coast Knights will have Josh Langdon in goal. Number 2, Jaden Walker. Number 4, debutant for the Knights in Tyson Martin, who's made the switch from Brisbane City. Number 5, Austin Ludwig. Number 6, another debutant, Janiel da Silva. Number 7, Pasquale De Vita. And number 9, Mirza Maratovic. They're all debutants too. Number 10, Max Brown. He's been a very familiar name in Gold Coast Knights circles for many years now. Christian Braimora, 23-year-old, formerly of Newcastle. He has made the switch to the Knights as well. Captain is Mitch Nichols, wearing number 16. Number 23 is Matt Schmidt. And it is Lions kicking from right to left. Andy Pengelly, the early target. And Sean Carlos just popping a hopeful ball over towards Hart-Phillips, who can't quite keep it in, the 21-year-old, who did make a senior appearance for the Raw against Lions last year in the competition formerly known as the FFA Cup, of course now known as the Australia Cup. We have the draw for that here yesterday for the qualification rounds. Lions away to Strikers, be one to look out for in the 4th round of the competition. So Martin gets up and heads that ball away. So hopeful ball forward for Christian Brymora, 23-year-old. He's well shepherded by Hassan Ramzani. Good pickup for Lions in the off-season. They've made a few changes from the side that won their second successive championship. 9 of the 16 listed played in last year's grand final. Of course, a couple of those exclusions are down to injuries or illness. We've got no Alex Fechner. He suffered a concussion in training during the week. Ethan Doherty is not in the lineup as well. Of course, such a key player in the final series and across the season for Lions with his effervescent personality. He was here and he was helping me with the pre-game, just talking through how pre-season's gone. He was part of the under-23 team that beat Gold Coast Knights by 4 goals to 0 earlier on. Lots of protestations there, but it'll be a Gold Coast Knights throw. Judden Walker assessing his options. Good, clever throw to get Brymora involved. Cross comes in. And Lions a little bit shaky at the moment. Brown. And Andy Thompson had his hands firmly behind his back. Free kick given there by our referee, Ziad Ahmetovic. He's assisted by Adam Humphreys and Oleg Labuz on the sidelines. Experienced referee, Ziad Ahmetovic. Could get physical this game. It's the thoughts of a few people pre-game that I spoke to. An early free kick for Knights. Swung in, headed away by Redenton. An enthusiastic cross-field pass, but Walker will be able to backtrack. Schmidt it was who played it slightly heavily through to him. Langdon now back at square one, and Knights will reset. Oh, it's good perseverance and good pressure from Solozano. Clearance is a good one though, and Knights straight on the attack again. Thompson having to work hard across field, and then Hart Phillips just getting his boot in to deny Knights an opportunity to put the ball into the box, or worse. Pasquale De Vita, another of the new signings. Quite new look teams from both these sides. Pasquale De Vita, who missed the back end of last season in the FQPL. The 28-year-old Italian with a shoulder injury, and he was a big absence in the grand final defeat to Brisbane City. Walker was the intended target. Hart Phillips heads it back inside. Duckworth was there. And Ramzani has to give chase. Brymora is interested. Ramzani scuffed that, still found its way through to Pengelly, who's being shepherded all the way by Da Silva. Janiel, the Brazilian, 28-year-old, signed from Altona Magic. Mopping up is Redenton. He'll be playing that role. Should free Duckworth to play slightly further up the field. He was the intended target. His header's not a good one, so Lozano picks it up. The run had been made, but Haas was unable to find Andy Pengelly there, but Knights well able to deal with the early pressure. Just a feeling out period. You expect that in what is the opening game of the season, even though it is round 4. Of course, the delays we had due to the floods. Some nice, neat little touch from Maltby. Maltby's done really well here to advance to the edge of the penalty area. He's thwarted in his forward progress there really well by Janiel. That's Nichols. He'll be key, as he was all season, the last couple of seasons for Knights. But that's a poor pass, and Max Brown picked up possession. Good ball through to Muratovic. Muratovic had support in Brown. Brown tried to foul Muratovic again, and it was a good tackle from Andy Thompson in the penalty area. And a warm round of applause for that piece of defending from the 27-year-old. Tackle that needed to be made. It's a good counter-attack led by Max Brown, and Just that sloppy pass. Lions will be punished. Indeed, the quality on show from both these teams would suggest that both teams will be quick to capitalise on one another's mistakes. Here's Brian Mora. Solozano coming back doing his defensive duties, and it was his perseverance that perhaps led to the turnover, and that's a good pass through to Hart Phillips, who has a lot of space. Walker went back inside, allowed Martin to come out to him. It's good work from Hart Phillips, and then a bit of a swing. There was no foul though. It will be a corner kick, and Zijad Ahmetovic is deaf to the appeals of Jaden Walker and Tyson Martin. Another player who played in a grand final last year in the FQPL for Brisbane City. Matt Redenton to take the corner, the first of the game. 7 minutes in. Oh, it's a good corner, headed away by Janiel. Knights have managed to squeeze that ball out. That's a strong challenge from Tommy Jarrod, who celebrated his birthday in the best possible way last year with a grand final victory over Olympic. 3-1 the score back in November. It's their third grand final win over Olympic in 4 years. First team to go back-to-back in terms of grand finals in Queensland since Sunshine Coast won 3 QSL titles between 2010 and 2012. But first in the NPL era, it's Duckworth, just thwarted there by Walker. Ball finds its way out to Maltby anyway, and Maltby finds himself on the ground. It'll be a throw-in. Duckworth with a really neat touch away from his opposite number, Max Brown. Goes back to Jarrod. Of course, without his long-time defensive partner, Matthias Simic, who retired. A player who actually missed the grand final victory due to a calf injury. Body just starting to let Matthias Simic down towards the end of his stellar career as Lions skipper. It has been a pretty fruitful era for Lions under first Warren Moon and now Darren Syme. As Walker makes Jackson Hart Phillips chase. Hart Phillips decides that safety first is the best policy, and that ball's ended up with the kids on the field behind us. It's a huge moon rises up away behind the commentary position and behind your camera position as well. Already mentioned, perfect clear night and a perfect temperature for football. Knights having the better of the football at the moment as Nichols just capitalised on the loose pass and pounced upon it. Spoke very briefly before the game with Mitch and said he had enjoyed the off-season, as you'd expect him to, and all business now. He's such a clever player, so intelligent. The way he steers this Gold Coast Knights team around is going to be key. But here's Muratovic, one of the young guard. He's 22 years old. He's been allowed to run. Support is there. He's continued the run now, Muratovic. Again, Andy Thompson is there, proving a real thorn in Pasquale De Vita's side. Couldn't quite thread the pass back through to Muratovic, who signed directly from Wellington, the A-League men's competition. Also spent some time with the Raw and the Raw youth. Mirza Muratovic, good to see him get his opportunity. Didn't play as much as he would have hoped in the A-League men this year. Be hoping, I'm sure, to use Knights as another springboard back into full-time professional competition. Janiel with a long ball. It's a good long ball too, although Walker delayed and hesitated. I'm not sure that was the right option from Jaden Walker. It was a really good pass from Janiel. Aidan Munford, who of course spent a fair amount of time at Knights cross-city rivals Gold Coast United before having a brief spell as an understudy at the Raw for Macklin Freak and Jordan Holmes. Another good fit for Lions, you'd think. Aidan Munford, real terrific guy. Enthusiastic about his football. Excellent goalkeeper to boot as well, and an ample replacement for Luke Berean, who has moved to strikers as John Carlos Solozano gets the ball wide, crosses it in. Brown was there. Redenton might have thought about shooting, realised he was too far away. That's clever from Mitch Nichols, just holding the ball up. It's all a little bit scrappy, and the shot's going to come in, and scrambling was Josh Langdon. Well, Zach Maltby who had the shot, and he's on the ball again now, capitalising on the poor clearance from Knights. He needs support. The support is there from Hart Phillips. Maltby's going to go himself. Now there's the option of Redenton. Again, the shot just wasn't on. And Lions are going to have to go all the way back to Tommy Jarrett to rebuild. Jarrett with the cross, and there's absolutely no one there, so Jaden Walker has enough time to take the ball down. And that won't please Darren Syme. He was given that much space when Lions were on the attack. DeVita does well. Another glorious pass to Walker in space. Walker's been finding a lot of space in the opening exchanges of this contest. Here's Muratovic. Walker. Muratovic again. Martin. Nichols. Janiel. DeVita gets the ball back. Clever, he gets the ball back again, DeVita, the Italian. He's tackled though by Joe Duckworth. Duckworth over the top. Wants Pengelly to run onto it. Andy Pengelly had a frustrating evening against the Solomon Islands in the last pre-season friendly that Lions had. Those of you who watched that game and are interested in how the Solomon Islands are going in Qatar in the OFC qualification matches, they did beat the Cook Islands by 2-0. That was certainly, on paper anyway, their easiest assignment in the 4-team group. They did get the victory to kickstart their qualification campaign. They helped kickstart their qualification campaign with 3 games here in Queensland, including against Lions, and a 4-2 victory. It was punctuated with some really excellent football. That's some excellent football as well from Knights, as Brimora links in and plays in over on the far side. Matthew Schmidt, who I'm sure will want to have his time again if it is ever to be afforded him. That was disappointing. It's a good opportunity that for Knights. They really did carve open Lions, and again with the changes at the back. Out Matthias Simic. Indeed, the inclusion of Jackson Hart-Phillips and Hassan Ramazani, both very, very impressive players, but it is going to take a little bit of time to gel. Redenton sitting in front of that back four as well. It's going to take a little bit of time just to iron everything out and making sure that everybody is in the right place, but you could certainly say the same of Knights, and I mean, Knights have been moving the ball around very nicely up front with their new attacking talents of Pasquale DeVita, Mirza Muratovic et al. Janiel really wanted to play in Jaden Walker again, but this time Jackson Hart-Phillips was paying him a little bit closer attention than he had. That's a really nice step over from DeVita. Sometimes you don't have to touch the ball to play a good pass, and that's brilliant towards Walker. Walker now assessing his options. It's a teasing pass, and DeVita wanted it played behind the in front of the defence, sorry, not behind it. And now Sean Carlos is going to try and spark a Lions counter-attack, because it has been Knights who have just been in the ascendancy, I think, on balance in the first 15 minutes or so. That's cute from Ramazani. Good pass as well. That's another good pass. Here's an opportunity for Andy Pengelly to open his Lions account. It's a good covering challenge. And a really good tackle from Austin Ludwig, the 24-year-old, who was in the NPL All-Star team and a very well-deserved inclusion in that. He only played 16 games, but every one was of the highest quality last year. Got one goal against Olympic, got sent off against Magpies Crusaders as well, but he's a really important player, and he showed his value there just by closing down Andy Pengelly just as he was about to pull the trigger. One of the most lethal strikers in Queensland, Andy Pengelly. Very deep corner. Jean Carlos is going to head it back across. Ball has been allowed to bounce, and it's cleared away just about. It was a deep corner from Redenton, but it was obviously designed that way. I think it was Zach Maltby who suddenly found his space at the near post. It's brilliant control from Solozano. He's going to give chase against Ludwig, shoulder to shoulder there, and Ludwig gives away another corner. That's very, very good. From the veteran, 34-year-old Giancarlo Solozano. Played 74 times in the A-League men's competition. Played 3 games for Knights in between spells at Brisbane City in 2020. Scored 8 goals last campaign. Oh, that's a header, and it's a good header. And it's Tommy Jarrett who opens for scoring. And he gets his first goal of the season in the opening game of the season. He normally only scores 1 per season anyway. They're normally pretty important, and this one is going to go down as the opening goal of the campaign. The 18th minute, Lions lead Gold Coast Knights by 1-0. His 1 goal last season in 24 appearances also came against Gold Coast Knights, also here, also in the first game of the season. It's slightly more dramatic though, the 94th minute. In a 3-2 victory that really kick-started the National Premier League's Queensland season. The Knights would be very disappointed to have conceded, because they have had some really good spells of possession and created some really good opportunities. And here's one from Brown. Just let the ball slide off the boots and off the laces, and then Walker couldn't quite keep the ball in play. Still a long, long way to go in this contest, though. Lions leading it by 1-0. Nichols. Go back to Ludwig. Now Schmidt. De Vita. Thwarted by Redenton. Solozano. Solozano, who helped keep that pressure and won that corner. Long ball towards Pengelly. Pengelly using his strength. That's good defending though. It's really good defending from Ludwig. He's going to have to be on his game today, Austin Ludwig. Martin. Muratovic. Clever ball by Martin to find Schmidt in space. He has to go back to Nichols though. Janiel. Martin. Walker. Brown. Switching play from right to left. Another brilliant ball from Martin. expertly controlled from Schmidt. Here's De Vita. Might fancy from there. Brown, not shy of shooting either. Nichols. Opportunity never presented itself. Janiel's going to find Walker. The ball just bounced awkwardly in front of Walker there. But it's patient stuff from Knights. They're moving the ball from one side of the field to the other. They're trying to prise open this Lions defence. And Lions for so long have been typified by their staunch defence, their ironclad defence really. You'd think they're not going to just sit back and defend for 70 minutes. If they are, it's going to be a long night because Knights have plenty of attacking talent and plenty of midfield flair. And in Janiel, they've got a man who can pick out a pass very, very quickly. So too Martin, but here's Jaden Walker, who they've been trying to find repeatedly in these opening exchanges. Brown just got clipped there by Redenton. Ziad Ametovic pretty quick to make the decision, even if Redenton didn't agree, and he's just asking for some clarification now as play continues, and Knights look to spread the ball wide brilliantly again from Martin. That's really good football to find Schmidt. Trying to stretch lines from side to side. Janio. Walker is in space. If the Brazilian can find him, he decides to go shorter to Brown, gets it back, and now Nichols. Brown, Nichols again, Nichols over the top, clever football. Brian Mora can get in, can he? No, Tommy Jarrett does well and clears his lines. He'll only go as far as Ludwig though, who does well to get the ball back to Janiel. Martin has space. Goes back to Brown. Patient stuff, real patient build-up from Scott McDonald's Gold Coast Knights side. And speaking before the game, all the people have been very impressed by Scott McDonald since he's turned up at Carrara. Impressed with his sessions, saying they've been excellent. Ramazani's just beaten to the ball there by Muratovic, two former Raw Youth teammates. And that's good work from the other former Raw Youth player of that vintage, Hart Phillips, just got there ahead of Walker, who's got through a mountain of work already. It's Duckworth. Just got in a bit of a tangle there with Pengelly. Duckworth continued his run. Ramazani and Muratovic battling. Lots of calls for the offside flag to be raised, but Ola Glabuz said no. Not as far as I'm concerned. Schmidt just interrupted that. Solozano picked up the ball anyway. It's aimed towards Pengelly. Pengelly battling and falling and tumbling into Josh Langdon. Janiel did enough and had the support of Tyson Martin. Again, the long ball looking for Pengelly. That's another long ball, and it's a really good one to Walker. In space, has support arriving, diving forward bravely was Aidan Munford. That's terrific stuff from the Lions keeper, because there were players rushing forwards, wearing the blue of Knights. Well, Pengelly surely fouled there by Janiel. And Christian Brymora it was who was racing in. And Munford knew he had to get there and just dived forward. I always have to question the mentality of goalkeepers sometimes when they put themselves in that sort of risky position when the boots are flying, but that's what they're there to do, and Aidan Munford is one of the best in the competition at it. And he's proving that so far. Hasn't had to make too many saves despite the impressive dominance or impressive performance so far. Sorry, I shouldn't say dominance because Lions have certainly played their part, but Knights have had plenty of possession. It's been unable to make the most of it. It's Lions on the attack now, though. Pengelly the target from Redenton's cross. Hart-Phillips try and find Redenton again. Redenton will get to the byline. There's 3 Knights trying to close him out. I only needed one of them. Max Brown does really well and then plays the ball forward. Trying to get Christian Brymore. He's a really good head. There was a call from Andy Thompson, I think, down on the field. Hassan Ramazani seemed to hover in mid-air and then contort himself to get the ball away. He is an excellent defender, Ramazani. Still just 20 years old. And he's an excellent header of the ball. He scored his only goal last season with his head in the 5-1 Brisbane Roar Youth victory over Redlands United. And he uses his head again to get that ball away. He's going to be put under pressure here, but Munford called early and called forcefully enough that Ramazani left it for him. Sean Carlos, haven't said his name much, but put the pressure on there, but right up the other end, it's Tommy Jarrod who has to do defensive works against De Vita. And he was up for the fight second time around as well. Good defensive work there from the 23-year-old. Ramora and Muratovic lurking in the penalty area. Walker there too, but Knights might have a job getting the ball to them at the moment. Brown went one way, then the other when that pass back to Nichols wasn't on. Cross is going to come in now. It's aimed towards Walker. Walker does well to actually get to that. A comfortable save in the end for Munford, but he's starting to get his hands on the ball a little bit more now, Aidan Munford. And that possession from Knights just starting to pay dividends in terms of the opportunities created as Ludwig goes for a little ride on the back of Pengelly. That's a nice touch from Walker inside to Muratovic. Oh, it's a decent effort. It's a spectacular goal for Mirza Muratovic. Bang, and just like that, Gold Coast Knights are level. A superb strike from the former Raw youth and Wellington Phoenix striker Mirza Muratovic. Just before the half-hour mark. That is an excellent goal. Aidan Munford at full stretch couldn't get to it and the ball just seemed to dip at exactly the right time. It was brilliantly struck from Muratovic. And he scores on his competitive debut for the Knights. And we're all square at 1 each. Pengelly trying to link up with Duckworth. Can't quite get his boot to it though, can Duckworth. So Nichols goes on the charge, then plays a brilliant pass to Muratovic. Has to check though, but Muratovic well alert to the opportunity. Schmidt, that's excellent chasing back by Solozano. There were appeals, but that's a good tackle from the Costa Rican. Referee Ziad Ametovic right on the spot. The Knights have their tail up now, and another opportunity perhaps for De Vita. That's good work, good tackle from Tommy Jarrod. Duckworth. Ramazani has open field ahead of him and goes on the charge, finds Jackson Hart-Phillips. Back to Duckworth. He and Redenton exchange passes before Tommy Jarrod gets involved. Jarrod trying the crossfield ball, overhit slightly though to Hart Phillips, and that ball is not going to stay in off the corner flag. Looked for a moment like the corner flag would help Tommy Jarrett out there, but again, just slightly over hit, and you can see what Lions are trying to do. Much in the same way that Gold Coast Knights were trying to move the ball around and get the fullbacks involved. I have to say it's been slightly more successful from Knights so far, but we are all square. Tommy Jarrett's 18th minute header and Mirza Muratovic's 29th minute spectacular goal. And with 31.5 minutes gone or so, we are locked at 1 apiece. Brown switches play to Martin. Walker screaming for the ball, gets it, wants to link up with Muratovic. Muratovic goes back to Nichols. Oh, then Sean Carlos just picks the pocket of Ludwig though, and Ludwig is screaming at Matthew Schmidt now, saying that he should have been moving to help. And Gold Coast Knights feel like they should have had a foul there, but Tommy Jarrett judged not to have tripped Christian Brymora, who moved up tonight from Northern New South Wales Premier League side Edgeworth Eagles. Oh, sloppy header there from Janiel. Pengelly didn't need too much of an invitation to pounce, couldn't quite get the ball under his control, but Hassan Ramazani does. Now Redenton looking for options. That option is Solozano, who's playing deep all of a sudden. Carlos. Good ball from Carlos to Hart Phillips. Hart Phillips twisting one way, going the other, and then the ball's played behind by Mitch Nichols for a corner. And there's some recriminations in the back line. Mitch Nichols just demanding a little bit more from his teammates at the moment. Janiel with the encouraging clap. Redenton on this near side prepares to take the corner. Another really good delivery, and is that Solozano? I think it is John Carlos Solozano, the 34-year-old, getting his goal-scoring campaign off and running for the 2022 season. And John Carlos Solozano gets Lions second. It's another set-piece delivery from Matt Redenton, put on an absolute diamond. John Carlos Solozano does not make too many mistakes when presented with opportunities like that. It's Lions 2, Gold Coast Knights 1. So Knights, after working so hard, finding themselves going behind, getting themselves back on level terms, are now going to have to rebuild again with just over 10 minutes to go before the half-time interval. Good ball from Langdon. Walker does well, Muratovic does really well, and now finds Walker, who continued his run. There's two in the box for Knights. That's a really good ball, it's a really good pass, it's a really good save by Aidan Munford, who made himself as big as he possibly could to deny Christian Bymora the equaliser. Knights get things moving quickly once again. Ramazani might have got a bit of a push there from Muratovic. Doesn't matter because he still managed to retain possession. And then Maltby's going to go down the sideline and flirt with the sideline. The ball's already gone out. Janiel may well have given away a foul had the ball stayed in. But the decision had already been made by referee Ahmetovic. And Knights, again, committed to getting things moving quickly with Schmidt over on that far side of the field. He goes back inside to Nichols. Janiel. Martin. Gianniel da Silva looking to spread a pass brilliantly, perfectly to Pasquale De Vita. But Pasquale De Vita was offside and appears to acknowledge that fact rather than plead his innocence. And why both options end up with the same outcome. A free kick to Lions over on that far side of the field, which Aidan Munford will take. It's been an entertaining game so far. Both sides creating opportunities here at Richlands. De Vita does well. Ball isn't kept in though. There's Adam Humphreys, a youngster over on that far side with the flag. Took charge of the under-23s game that got heated at times. A couple of things he needed to sort out, and he did so really well. Queensland is something of a referee proving ground. Certainly plenty of referees coming through the system here in Queensland. That's a real testament to all the work that the refereeing assessors and coaches do up here. Third team just as important as either of the others in this competition. And on the field, it's a good header from Pengelly to find Solozano. Solozano on the charge. Doesn't he look full of confidence? That's a nice pass, just too far ahead of Zach Maltby though. Carlos Solozano winding back the years. Was used predominantly off the bench last year. Of course, has other work commitments as well as playing football, but he's such a talent. He's so good to watch when he's in full flight. And if he's playing like this in the opening game of the season, well, that can only be good news for the reigning champions. Did tell me at the end of one season he wished they didn't have to stop playing in the off-season, just continue playing the whole year round. Whether he still thinks that way now that he's entering his mid-30s, he's still an incredibly physically fit man, so perhaps he does. He started this campaign pretty well with a goal from a header and then some rampaging runs down the right-hand side. What is a very strong Lions squad. Muratovic as well to find Walker, who's again in acres of space. They've not been worried about giving him that space, Lions. I wonder whether it will come back to bite them as Nichols tried to thread the needle, but Sean Carlos was there in the middle. Pasquale De Vita, though, picks his pocket. And now Schmidt with just a hidden hope, really, hoping that Jaden Walker had continued his run. He hadn't, and Aidan Munford will just calm things down a little bit. Ramazani, pressure coming from Muratovic. Munford does well. On onto the head of Ludwig, though. And Darren Syme takes the opportunity of the ball coming near him to jump up off his seat and just issue some instructions. Kelly again trying to be found, but the pass not quite going to feet. Jared using his strength over the top of the shoulder of Brymora to win the header. It's Nichols. Spins awkwardly, but still manages to get an excellent pass away to this near side and Walker. Brown. Brymora goes down. Of his own volition, though, more than anything. And a free kick is going to go against Tyson Martin, who vehemently disagrees that he must have fouled Zach Maltby. Interesting season for Zach Maltby. Scored 2 goals last season. That's down on his return in 2020, in which he scored 4, and he had 7 the year before that. Used a lot off the bench by Darren Syme last year, was Zach Maltby, but I wonder he needs to have a good season here. It's a lovely pass from Sean Carlos to link up with Duckworth, who gets his skates on. Finds Redenton. That's a really good ball from Hart Phillips across the face of goals. Well dealt with by Janiel. Duckworth linking up with Maltby now. Maltby's pass to where he thought Solozano was, but he wasn't. And now Lions are going to have to defend. And it's Hart Phillips who just interrupts Muratovic's progress. Two former teammates there in the orange of the Brisbane Roar. Oh, a brilliant ball from Tyson Martin. He has been exceptional alongside his centre-back partner, Janiel Da Silva, in making those long passes. Sorry. Martin, of course, playing more of a right side of a back three, really. And here is the central pivot of those three. Janiel Da Silva, now Brown. Schmidt linking up with De Vita. And then Pengelly and Redenton just getting in each other's way there. I think De Vita fancied a shot there, and Duckworth knew about that, so decided to put his boot in front of it, and he knew all about that as well. Just getting up with a little bit of a wince, Joe Duckworth. Pasquale De Vita can score them from just about anywhere. 28-year-old from Naples, spent time at Atalanta, Verona and Palermo in his native land, for playing a real key role in Southwest Queensland Thunder's resurgence, really. They might still be in the Football Queensland Premier League, the second tier of football here in Queensland, but they have rediscovered themselves, really. So many of the players coming through the Toowoomba-based competition and making the step up to state-level football. And they've become a little bit more entrenched in the community, you feel, having gone down. It was the shock they needed. And they've been winning games, and they've got a team now up there on the range that the community can really get behind us. Thompson just sticks his chest out to poke the ball past Schmidt. Schmidt thinks it's his throw-in. He either hasn't seen or is deliberately ignoring Ziad Ahmetovic, who's pointing the other way. After some delay, Lions will take the throw. A couple of minutes to go before half-time. Lions leading by 2-1. The set-piece delivery of Matt Redenton proving key. Headed goals by Giancarlo Solozano and Tommy Jarrett, countering a superb solo strike from distance by Mirza Muratovic, who opened his account on his competitive debut for Knights. Knights will fancy going in level, though, as Martin gets on the charge, finds Walker. The run was being made by Muratovic, and he pointed exactly where he wanted the ball, but it was just behind him. It's Ramazani, just gets caught out by a combination of Mitch Nichols and Tyson Martin, who never gave up the ghost. Ramazani has sped back into position, though, as Nichols looks to unpick the lock, and it is Ramazani who makes the block. Duckworth. Pengelly. Duckworth goes back to Thompson. Thompson with a long ball towards Pengelly. Pengelly and Janiel doing battle. And Janiel using some of his experience. And not much has fallen Andy Pengelly's way. There was that one chance early that was brilliantly snuffed out by Austin Ludwig. Other than that, he's had to work very hard in his first start as a Lion. But he will continue working hard, there's no doubt about that. And he does only need a sniff of a chance. Nichols finds Ludwig. Janiel. Space and time for Martin. Closed down by Duckworth. Still manages to poke the ball over the top to Walker, though. Walker has time to put a cross in. Headed away by Jared. And then Duckworth just nipping in to make sure the ball found its way through to Zach Maltby, but the clearance only finds Danielle, and it looks like Lions want half-time to come. There's pressure coming from the visitors, Knights, who have come from a goal down once already today. Ludwig with just a little shimmy. Finds Brymora. Brymora trying to go past Jared. He's going to have to go past Thompson as well and is unable to do so. Thompson's standing tall. Brymora ending the half sitting frustrated on the edge of the penalty area. He's had a couple of chances. Knights have had a couple of chances as well. The best of them probably wasn't the one that ended up being the goal. Mirza Muratovic's sensational strike from all of 25 yards that dipped and befuddled Aidan Munford, who couldn't really do anything else other than see the ball hit the back of the net after his brilliant reach and stretching effort. But that goal was punctuated by headers either side by Tommy Jared and Giancarlo Solozano from brilliant set pieces by former Wellington Phoenix, Newcastle Jets and Brisbane Roar A-League men's star Matt Redenton, who has been putting them on a sixpence for the Lions headers from the set piece. And at half-time, it is Lions who lead Gold Coast Knights by 2 goals to win. A good half from the reigning champions. We'll be back for the second half after these messages.
They say you can't choose your family, but you can choose your football family. A family has legends you look up to. And the up-and-comers. A family pitches in and works together as a team. We have the ones who keep us in check, and we motivate each other to be the best. Be the best! But it's my brothers and my sisters who always have my back. That's why even my real family love my football family. So what are you waiting for? Join our team. Come on!
Felton Industries is proud to be the official shelter and grandstands partner of Football Queensland. Felton offers a range of premium aluminium grandstands, from elite portable spectator seating to soccer team shelters for players and coaches. Give your fans the best view of the game with Felton's comfortable spectator seating. With sun-safe shelters or powder-coated in your team colours. Whatever your club needs, Felton has a high-quality, low-maintenance seating option to suit. We are the pioneers in Australian-made grandstands and team shelters. Contact Felton today on 1800 834 016 or visit felton.net.au.
Vito Sports pride themselves on delivering top-quality FIFA regulation-compliant goals. Each goal is made from durable, high-density, thick aluminium and then finished in a white powder coat. To provide quick delivery, Vito Sports stock all goals in this range within their Brisbane distribution warehouse, allowing customers to quote, order and deliver in a matter of days. If you'd like to inquire about the Vito Sports goal range, email us at admin@vitosports.com.
Welcome back to Richlands, the season opener in the National Premier League's Queensland, where Lions, the two-time reigning champions, lead Gold Coast Knights by 2-1. Lots of other football happening around the traps as well, so we'll run you quickly through those scores as we await the return of Lions to the field. Knights have been sent out relatively early by new coach Scott McDonald. He's taking charge of his first competitive game. Did have a couple of pre-season matches. They beat Palm Beach Sharks on Saturday by 2-0. Kai Tipaldo and Christian Baimora, getting the goals. They lost 2-1 to Lions back in February, beat Raw 3-0 and Peninsula Power 1-0. Played Newcastle Olympic and beat them by 2-0 as well. And of course they also had the FFA Cup, or the competition formerly known as the FFA Cup, round of 16 clash against Victory as well. Kai Tipaldo scored in that one, a 2-1 defeat. In the Australia Cup they'll actually be facing Runaway Bay in the fourth round. But we'll run you quickly through the other scores as Lions trickle back onto the field. In the A-League men's competition, Central Coast beat Macarthur by 4-2. It's 60 minutes gone in the Melbourne derby, and it's locked at 1 each there, and Sydney are leading Western United after an hour's played by 2-0. In the National Premier League's Queensland, Eastern Suburbs are leading Capella Bar by 0-0 at half-time, and Olympic are leading Brisbane City by 0-0 at half-time. In the FQPL, Caboolture have just beaten Southside Eagles by 2-1, so a good introduction to the competition for the reigning FQPL 2 premiers and champions. And South West Queensland Thunder beat Western Pride in a thriller by 3-2. Down in the FQPL 2, it's 46 minutes gone between South United and Samford. No goals there yet, and half an hour gone at Langham Park. Grange Thistle 1, Albany Creek 1. Earlier on today in the Power Chair competition, big shout out to the Lions team. They beat Brisbane City by 2-0. Thomas Byrne getting both goals, and then they earned a 2-2 draw with Strikers Blue, Mark Warren and Tristram Peters, both Australia representatives. Tristram Peters, an Australian representative. Mark Warren knocking on the door, and a Queensland rep getting the goals there as the Power Chair football competition gets underway at its new home of Suncorp Stadium, PCYC. So it's great to see that competition back up and running. We're back up and running as well in the round 4 clash between Lions and Gold Coast Knights. This is the first game of the season, of course, due to the extensive flooding that we had in the southeast corner of Queensland and across New South Wales, of course, over the last few weeks. Knights get on the charge early, and the pass intended for Baimora wasn't quite get there, and then a good save from Munford after a long-range effort was watched all the way by the 22-year-old Kiwi. Bright start, though, from Knights. They were good in the first half as well. Certainly could be considered slightly unfortunate not to be on level terms, but two good headed goals from Tommy Jarrett and John Carlos Solozano off Matt Redenton's set pieces. Has been a change as well for Gold Coast Knights. It appears that Luke Beckwith, the 19-year-old, is on, and a flag has just gone up as Pengelly tried to beat the offside trap. It's just unable to do so. Really bright start in the opening couple of minutes. Opening 75 seconds of play in this second half. So Luke Beckwith is on. I will endeavour to see who he has replaced. Be a process of elimination, but I believe Matthew Schmidt is the player to have made way. Ramazani just nips in there to win the ball. Sean Carlos a little bit casual there, but DeVita couldn't capitalise. And Ramazani, who continued his run and then spun himself around and is going to have to give chase himself to Janiel, who's continued his run as well. What is it about centre-backs going on the charge at the start of his second half? Here's Beckwith. Left wing back. Stopped in his tracks. Goes back to Max Brown. Beckwith. Ludwig. Knights just settle themselves and start to set up a bit of an arc around the Lions' defensive third of the field. Forced to go back into their own half, where Janiel will come back towards this near side. And Ludwig. Patient build-up from Gold Coast Knights. They were patient in the first half as well. And patience was rewarded eventually with a really brilliant goal from Mirza Muratovic. And their patience has been rewarded here after Christian Brymora was fouled, or adjudged to have been fouled, by our referee Zihad Ahmetovic. And a free kick in a very promising position. Max Brown standing over it. Looked for a moment that Pasquale De Vita fancied it. He's not shy of having a shot from there. It's a long way out, but you'd think this is going to be aimed towards the tall men. Tyson Martin, Janiel is there as well. Mirza Muratovic. Janiel's gone round the outside, and it was aimed towards him. Could have perhaps taken a touch off Christian Brymora as well, but no, it was in fact a Lions defender who got a piece of that. Helping it over the line will be a corner kick, which Max Brown is going to come over to take. He scored last time Knights played here in round 1 of the 2021 season. A thrilling game that was. Lions winning in the 94th minute by 3-2. And over hit that one. Janiel does well and does really well to win the throw-in. Knights have a pretty good record here at Richlands. 3 games. They won in round 9 of the 2019 season thanks to a Jared Kyle goal. Single goal to nil there. Then it was a 0-0 draw in 2020. And then the 3-2 defeat last year. Should remind everyone that it was in fact against a 10-man Gold Coast Knights after Marek Madley was sent off in the 59th minute. So half an hour just over to play with 10 men, and Knights did equalise while they were down a man as well. Thanks to Max Brown after Marek Madley had equalised from Joe Duckworth's early goal. Free kick over on that far side of the field. Duckworth the guilty party, and he was very unhappy with the decision, but a good opportunity here for Knights to whip the ball in. Ludwig Martin is inside. It's Ludwig with the header, and it just flashed across the face. Solozano was back defending, and he just did enough to stop the Giant centre-back from getting enough on that. The Lions haven't really started in the first 5 minutes of this second half.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've just been handed a phone from downstairs. So if someone's actually missing a phone with a red cover, you can come up and
Maltby leaped, but it's Tyson Martin who got the ball, and he gets it the second time as well. This time he loses out to Zach Maltby though, and Maltby on the charge to the edge of a penalty area. It's a really good tackle. Ball's still there for Duckworth though. Duckworth wants support. Everyone's in the penalty area. Squeezes the ball through to Redenton. Redenton puts a cross in. It's helped away by Langdon. Duckworth gets another chance, and he wins a corner. Well, it was all or nothing there for Lions. 4 men in the penalty area, and Duckworth was wondering where the support was. Well, they were all back on halfway. Perhaps a little bit too over-eager. Redenton, though, has been lethal from set pieces. Can't get the ball past Muratovic at the near post this time. Carlos hooks it back inside. Backtracking. It was the header, and it's in. Andy Pengelly gets his goal. It's his first goal in Lions colours. And there is plenty of discussion from those in blue. Backtracking was Maltby. He got the header that forced Langdon into the save. And the inquest is ongoing. Goal stands, says Zihad Ahmetovic. supported by Oleg Labuz. And Andy Pengelly gets his campaign off and running with an opening goal to give Lions a 3 goals to 1 lead. Mitch Nichols still arguing the point, which is something we're probably going to have to look at again, and we will look at again in the wash-up. I didn't see whether there were Gold Coast Knights defenders playing him on, but Zach Maltby was in a lot of space. Of course, you can watch every game of the National Premier League's Queensland season on FQTV. Nice little flick there from De Vita, and advantage was being played, was it? Free kick is given. Brown. It's a good ball, and it's a good header, and it's a good save. Christian Brymora it was who forced Munford into action. Brilliant set piece from Max Brown. We've been waxing lyrically about Matt Redenton's deliveries so far today, but that was top notch from Brown. Munford had to be alert to make the save. It was a good header from Brymora. He made good contact. The Lions keeper was up to it, equal to it in fact. Janiel got up so high then. Alongside Pengelly. Can't get the ball upfield, and Nichols wins a free kick. It's one of the more obvious free kicks you're going to see as well. Matt Redenton can have no complaints and has none. Nichols knew exactly what he was doing, of course, but Redenton just charged right through the back of him, and another good opportunity for Gold Coast Knights. Similar position, perhaps 5 yards closer in for Brown, so not quite the angle for those tall men to run onto. Brymora will indeed be a target again. He is a target again. This time he sends it over the bar. Every Gold Coast Knight is arguing that that should have been a corner, except the person whose head it came off last. Christian Brymora, who's been around the traps for 23-year-old. Oh, De Vita, that's beautiful from De Vita. Lovely ball. An opportunity here for Knights. That's an excellent goal from Max Brown. First time shot. And Knights are back within a goal. That was beautiful football. Exquisite movement from Pasquale De Vita. Just to play in Jaden Walker, who's been so busy all game. Excellent cross, and Max Brown first time. We've got a bit of a shootout here. 5 goals. And there's still 35 minutes of this match to go. Ramazani gives the ball away after winning it to Brymora. Nichols. Beckwith can't quite take it in stride, so has to go back to Ludwig. Nichols. It's a lovely ball from Nichols to Muratovic, who was offside. Flag went up over on the far side of the field. Munford wants to get things moving quickly, where perhaps it might be an idea for Lions just to take the sting out of this resurgence from Knights. They've responded excellently to falling further behind. Really putting the pressure on Lions. whose lead is just the solitary goal. Sean Carlos is offside. Mitch Nichols commending Ola Glabuz for his work. I'm sure it was without irony after the controversy that met Andy Pengelly's goal. Lions third, the goal that has them in the lead by 3-2. Question marks over whether Zach Maltby was offside. Haven't been able to see a replay of it, so can't say whether he was or wasn't, but he did have plenty of space, and Muratovic has plenty of space now. Free kick was taken quickly and came off a Knights player. Lions unhappy at the moment that the player might not have been within or outside the 10 yards that he should have been, but Lions took the free kick quickly. Oh, headed by Andy Thompson straight to Muratovic. Brown is there. Still Brown. Now an opportunity for Brymora. Muratovic just forced to check by Redenton, who was nibbling and ended up just squirting the ball back to Mitch Nichols. Martin. Walker wraps his boot around that one. Thompson gets a better header onto this one this time, but only finds Mitch Nichols with the clearance. Beckwith goes back to Ludwig. Janiel. Martin back to Nichols. Nichols gets that one wrong. Thompson, first time, bit of an error because he gives the ball straight back to Ludwig. That's a really good ball from Beckwith. And Lions will be breathing a sigh of relief. Walker, the pressure relentless. De Vita, still De Vita, and that's the equaliser! Christian Brymora. Oh, he's huffed and puffed and he finally gets his goal, the 23-year-old. And incredibly, just before the hour mark, Gold Coast Knights are back on level terms. And it's 3-3.
Goal scorer for Gold Coast Knights, number 14, Christian Brymora. Lions 3, Knights 3.
It took 4 meetings before these two sides managed to combine for 6 goals in the National Premier League's Queensland in matches between the two teams. We've had 6 in 60 minutes here in round 4 of the 2022 season. And that was a really well-worked goal. And Brymora, well, he was all on his own. The simplest finish he's had. We were talking briefly about Christian Brymora as Darren Syme goes to his bench. And it will be Giancarlo Solozano who makes way. Finn Beakhurst will enter the fray. And Beakhurst returning from COVID. He missed the Solomon Islands match, which I'm sure he would have been disappointed about. He played 27 games last year, scored 7 vital goals for 22-year-old. That's a good ball to find Beckwith, who's all on his own at the moment on this near side. Ramazani put his head to that one before it could get to Brymora. Knights very much on the charge here.
Number 23, Finn Vickers, replaces number 20, Giancarlo Solozano, and number 11, Nathan Shepherd, replaces number 18, Zach Maltby.
Nathan Shepherd is on the field as well, as Lions just about conspire to clear their lines. Nathan Shepherd, who was a substitute in the grand final, the 30-year-old Scot. He has replaced Zach Maltby. And Lions is struggling to clear their lines at the moment, so the twin substitution, one on either side of the field. Hoping to make change. That's excellent work from Muratovic to take Thompson away from his duties, and almost worked there. Beckwith's cross just snuffed out, played back, and then Aidan Mumford, cool as you like, getting the ball upfield, but Knights really with wind in their sails at the moment. That's space now for Brown. Coming across was Jarrod. Decent cross, but Mumford is the only player there. Dishes the ball out to his fellow Kiwi, Matt Redenton, and Nichols gives away a free kick and then sends a volley as well in the direction of this near sideline. Not sure, quite sure who it was directed to. So that ball goes forward. Opportunity here for Pengelly, and he was off balance, but he's made a bit of a hash out of that, Andy Pengelly. That was a real mix-up at the back from Knights. Ludwig and Janiel finding themselves both marking on this near side, and well, Andy Pengelly just never quite balanced himself, was always slipping and sliding, and that is why the shot turned out the way that it did. Shepherd heads the ball back up towards Pengelly. Pengelly does well. Good strength. Duckworth can't quite link up with Shepherd on that occasion. It's the right idea though. A little bit too far, so Knights will have to take that one again. Jaden Walker just taking a few too many liberties, and ended up taking the throw from exactly where he took it from in the first place. There'll be another Knights throw in, this time just in front of the Lions bench. Might provide something more of a benchmark. He's taking another 5 yards or so. Ziad Ametovic decides to let that one pass. Thompson, Duckworth on the charge. Duckworth had to get past the sandwich of Ludwig and Janiel, and then just put his hands on Josh Langton. Nothing too malicious, I don't think. Certainly busted a gut to get there, did the 24-year-old. Lions just fighting their way back into this contest. It is 3-3, but it's Knights with the ascendancy, and De Vita is a real part of that ascendancy. Lovely skill from the Italian. Beckwith. Beckwith goes round the outside, puts a cross in. It's a great opportunity. It's a brilliant save. They're still there for Knights. Is anyone going to put the ball in the back of the net? Pasquale De Vita puts the ball in the back of the net, and Knights have 4. Oh, it was a real scramble in the penalty area. Ramazani, I think, managed to get a block in. Mumford was there as well. Muratovic couldn't put it in. Brymora couldn't put it in. Pasquale De Vita does get it in, and another debutant gets his first goal for Gold Coast Knights. And from being behind 3 times, Knights have now hit the front. Now then, a test for the champions. A long ball from Jarrod, who opened the scoring in the 18th minute of this game. That goal was cancelled out by Mirza Muratovic. Giancarlo Solozano gave Lions the lead once more. Then Andy Pengelly extended that lead, but then Max Brown, Christian Braimora and now Pasquale De Vita in the space of 10 minutes have scored 3 goals to give Knights a 4-goal-to-3 lead. And here's Beckwith, full of running, but running out of space. Muratovic is putting the pressure on Munford, and that's all that Munford could do. Knights, they are charging, and they are leading here at the home of the champions. Muratovic, Brown. One too many from Brown. Shepherd does well. An opportunity here for Finn Beakhurst in space. Early pass. And it was a little bit too close to Josh Langdon, who was well alert to that threat and stayed a long way off his line to snuff out the danger. It was a nice idea from Finn Beakhurst, but Pengelly was all on his own in the middle. It was a lightning counter-attack from Lions, who will be desperate to restore parity now. Free kick for the foul on Jaden Walker. He's been excellent tonight, Walker. Knights have certainly been looking to find the 25-year-old at every opportunity. Nichols. Clever from Nichols to find Braimora. Braimora puts a cross in, and it's another cross. That time Andy Thompson was there to smash the ball away. This could end up awkward. Janiel and Martin, who both went down, and free kick is now given with no advantage played. Pengelly is complaining about something. As Lions prepare to make another substitution, but they have the ball in their possession at the moment. Thompson. Redenton. Duckworth. Thompson. Tried to chip the ball over the top towards Redenton. Duckworth will go back to Thompson. Duckworth has continued his run and is well found by Thompson. Duckworth needs support, finds it in Redenton. Redenton, clever pass, brave goalkeeping from Langdon. And Langdon is just going to stay down for a moment here. He might have just been caught by Pengelly as both went for the ball. And it was brave stuff from Josh Langdon. Still only 22 years old, and he's just going to need a little bit of treatment here as Lions prepare to make their 3rd substitution. Hassan Ramazani is going off. This is going to precipitate a change in shape because Fletcher McDonald is coming on, and there's a little bit of a meeting going on between he, Redenton and Tommy Jarrett. Instructions have been issued. Darren Syme shuffles his pack. 3rd season in charge for Darren Syme. Spent 5 years as Warren Moon's assistant, in which he won 2 BPL premierships, 2 PPL grand finals and a Canale Cup, as well as winning premierships in 2018 and 2019 in the NPL and the championship in 2018. He's won the championship in both years that he has been lead head coach. Darren Syme did superbly well to change the fortunes of Lions, who had a torrid start to last year. They were just 20 points is where they were sitting after 13 rounds, and yet in the next 13 matches they won 33 points to get them into 4th spot. 8 points off 4th at one stage last year. And 7th spot as late as round 20 of 26. And still managed to finish 4th, still managed to win a grand final. You can't rule out this Lions team. Neat football, one-touch football from Lions. Sean Carlos just can't quite keep the ball under his control though, and Muratovic comes away with it. But here's the substitute McDonald. Duckworth. Shepherd was outside him, goes back inside to Redenton. Carlos. Carlos just moving a little bit gingerly. Redenton keeps the passage of play alive for Lions. Thompson goes back to Jared. Now comes back to Tommy Jared. Redenton wants an option. The only option is behind him, Andy Thompson. Hart Phillips. Jared. Hart Phillips. Duckworth. Has to check, just creates a little bit of space for himself away from DeVita. Andy Thompson again. Beakhurst. This is the sort of pressure that Knights have been putting on. Beakhurst injects some pace though. Now Duckworth has made a run. Duckworth wins a corner. Real good patient build up there from Lions. Knights held their shape though and held their defences firm. Redenton's been delivering these set pieces superbly, but this time it'll be Joe Duckworth who chips the ball in. It's an awkward one. It's a strong header from Jared, but straight back towards Duckworth. Duckworth might get another opportunity to play that cross in. He's unable to do so though, and now DeVita, who scored the 4th goal for Knights. He's just trying and create some space. Fletcher McDonald was like a limpet onto his back. Muratovic does well, getting the same treatment from Jackson Hart Phillips as Knights switch play over to Jaden Walker on the far side. Martin. Now it's Knights' turn for patient build-up and patient possession play as we approach the 15 minutes to go mark. Max Brown just about keeping possession with Walker. Brown continued his run. Cross is dealt with well by Jared. And now Redenton. Redenton is closed down by Brown. That's good work from Max Brown. Hart Phillips to Sean Carlos. McDonald. Duckworth finds Beakhurst. Beakhurst can't thread the needle through, then gets a falcon right onto the face. And that'll sting a little bit. Doesn't get any easier for Lions. They take on the Premiers, Peninsula Power, next up, next Saturday at 7 o'clock here at Lions Stadium. No doubt that'll be a match that you'll want to watch on FQTV. Peninsula Power kick off their Premiership defence tomorrow at 6 o'clock at Ballinger Park. Brisbane Roar Youth are in action as well at Underwood Park against Logan Lightning at 5:15, and Gold Coast United host Moreton Bay United at Coplex at 6. So 3 more games tomorrow as Redenton finds some space in the edge of penalty area. Then loose touch gives the ball away to Janiel, and Janiel's going to go on the charge here, but Beakhurst has the pace. And Janiel is now out of position, but he's going to race back after encouraging his teammates forward. Denson finds Duckworth. Duckworth might make a little charge here. Has Hart Phillips on the outside and plays the easy pass. Muratovic gives chase. Skelly just gives the ball away there with a loose touch. Sean Carlos does well, and then leaping into action was Finn Beakhurst, but Beakhurst loses out to Luke Beckwith, and the 19-year-old's on the charge now. Goes back to Nichols. Beckwith gets to the byline, puts a cross in, headed away by Hart Phillips. Only as far as Brown. Muratovic. Walker. Oh, it's another blazing shot. This time over the top. The shot was on. Mumford wants to get things moving quickly, but Pasquale De Vita has cramp. It's a cool night in Richlands, not like it was 10, 11 days or so ago for the visit of the Solomon Islands, where we were just sweating, just standing watching the match. It was horrendous. It's only a short delay for De Vita, perhaps a little bit of experience coming in from the 28-year-old Italian, just to stop that quick play taking place. Beakhurst with the first time deliver and go, and he went with some pace. Janiel ghosting across just to get his head to the ball and cut out that return pass to Finn Beakhurst. Oh, Finn Beakhurst's gone down and is clutching at the inside of his knee, and that is never a good sign. And he's in an awful lot of pain, Finn Beakhurst. It was just an impact collision injury. It looked like boot to boot, and Sean Carlos, who has some experience of knee injuries, is signalling instantly for the substitution, and that is a real heartbreaker for Finn Beakhurst. Desperately hope that it's not anything too serious. Being dealt with by the physio. Just go around the grounds and give you some of the other scores from around the traps. Eastern Suburbs lead Capella Bar by just 2-1 now, so Capella Bar have got a goal back there at AJ Kelly Park. Heath Park understandably out of action for the next little while. Olympic are still leading Brisbane City by 1-0. In the FQPL, we've already mentioned the full-time scores. South West Queensland Thunder beating Western Pride by 3-2, and Caboolture beating Southside Eagles by 2-1. Magpies Crusaders are leading Sunshine Coast up at Soligenkin Oval by 3-1. Sunshine Coast actually took the lead in that game. Their goals coming in a hurry either side of half-time for Magpies Crusaders, who will no doubt be being backed on by a very big crowd up there in Mackay, as they always are. Pasquale De Vita has been substituted for Gold Coast Knights. It's his goal that is the difference at the moment.
Substitution for Gold Coast Knights. Number 15, Kai Topoldo replaces
Kai Topoldo comes on. 23-year-old, former Gold Coast City, spent time with Newcastle Jets youth and the Raw youth. Had 11 goals in 24 appearances last season.
Substitution for Lions, number 16, Jake Manette.
Jake Manette comes on to replace the substitute Finn Beakhurst, and we can only hope that his injury is not too bad, as Brymora goes round the outside here and is thwarted and stopped in his tracks by Tommy Jarrett. Finn Beakhurst just away to our right is being gingerly supported as he makes his way across to the dressing room. It's a long walk, and that's really, really heartbreaking for the 22-year-old. That came off Beckwith last, says Zihad Ahmetovic. Gold Coast Knights leading this game by 4-3. They trailed by 3-1 at one point. They've fought back brilliantly, Knights, and have been good throughout. Muratovic can't get a lid on that ball, and that was left by Martin. An opportunity here for Pengelly. It's a brilliant save. It was a fierce shot. It was Jackson Hart Phillips, in fact, who got the shot away, I think. Racing onto that through ball, and Pengelly was in support, but that's a really good save from Josh Langdon. He's kept his side ahead with under 10 minutes remaining. Duckworth. Minette on the outside. Sean Carlos left it, hoping for an error from Janiel, but he's been solid all day, the Brazilian. Now Tommy Jarrett is going up against Christian Braimora, and looks like he's got a good hold of Christian Braimora there, by hook or by crook. Substitution is about to be made for Knights as Scott McDonald, rookie coach. Former Socceroo Scott McDonald makes another change.
Substitution to Gold Coast Knights.
It's Jaden Walker who's gone off.
Jaden Wallace is replaced by number 3,
Nick Mirkovic
Nick Mirkovic.
is coming on, the 26-year-old. Was played with Gold Coast City during that entity's existence in the Premier Leagues, National Premier Leagues. Oh, it's an excellent run, a great opportunity, and with almost his first touch, Kai Tapaldo gets Gold Coast Knights 5th, and that might well do it. It was a brilliant run over on that far side of the field. To set up the goal and set up the opportunity for Tipaldo, and he did not make any mistake. And Lions have had to chop and change a little bit in terms of their personnel with the injury to Finn Beakhurst. And that might have been a little bit distracting for them. But they do trail by 5 goals to 3. Is there any way back for the reigning champions? Tapaldo only had one little run down on this near side, and then his next touch was to put the ball in the net. Pengelly was the intended target from Jared. They've targeted him all day with varying success. A lot to unpack so far from what we've seen in this opening clash of the National Premier League's Queensland season between the 2 most recent champions of Queensland. It is the champions of 2019 who lead the champions of 2020 and 21 at the moment, and by 5 goals to 3 as well. Duckworth giving chase to Mirkovic. Duckworth makes a really good challenge. Been very busy. As Joe Duckworth. Tapaldo goes down. Tapaldo gets back up without earning the decision. Sliding in was Mirkovic. The Lions will switch play over to the far side of the field, and Jake Minette. Shepherd is free on this near side, but Jared has decided to keep it over on the grandstand side of the field. Nice one-touch football. Minette might not have the pace to beat Janiel to that ball, and Janiel just gets his body in the way and earns the goal kick. It's been a good game, this. A great return to football in the National Premier League's Queensland. And Gold Coast Knights have certainly given an indication that they are going to be a team that are going to be tough to beat this year. Sean Carlos gives away the free kick for the push on Tipaldo. There's always going to be a lot of interest in Gold Coast Knights this year, with Scott McDonald taking his first steps into coaching. By all indications, he's been very willing to learn, very willing to absorb information from the staff that are already on hand at Knights. As Duckworth gives the ball away, not quite sure McDonald was really paying attention, and this could be 6 here. Tipaldo, it's a nice ball through, bravely down was Mumford as the flag is raised over on the far side of the field. Nathan Shepherd is being told to play as high as he possibly can. He has to go looking for that ball. Plays it first time to Pengelly. Pengelly uses his strength. Nichols uses his experience. Pengelly does well. Now Duckworth does well, but Nichols does better. And Nichols is going to go on the charge now and just take a few more seconds off the clock. And then he's going to go down and he's going to win a free kick. And Joe Duckworth might not like the decision. That was excellent from Mitch Nichols. 226 A-League men's appearances between 2007 and 19. Went straight from Wellington Phoenix into the Gold Coast Knights team in 2019 to help them to that championship. Such a key player, such a clever player. His quality really shines through as Tipaldo does really well. Mirkovic. Oh, that's sensational! That is absolutely sensational! A magnificent goal in a game full of goals. It's the 9th we've had in the contest, and it is by far the best of the lot. It almost looked like Kai Tipaldo and Nick Mirkovic got themselves in a little bit of a muddle there.
Goal for Gold Coast Knights, once again scored by number 15, Kai Tipaldo.
But didn't that work out well for the Knights? They've put a real stamp on this contest, and they've sent out a warning shot to the rest of the league. Gold Coast Knights are back. Their 6th place finish last year was certainly something of an aberration based on the meteoric rise the club has had both in the Gold Coast Premier League, the old Gold Coast Premier League, and in the National Premier League's Queensland. But wow, what a message this is sending to the rest of the competition. Lions 3, Gold Coast Knights 6. You wouldn't have read about it, but you're watching it on FQTV. We thank you for joining us for what has been an excellent game, and well, maybe they're not done yet, Knights. Mirkovic gets the better of Duckworth. Sean Carlos in support. Mirkovic just looking so tall and so strong. Carlos makes a good sliding challenge. Pengelly can't latch onto the loose ball, though. He looks absolutely spent. He's worked so hard in this game. He has managed to get his first goal in Lions colours in a competitive match. But so too for Gold Coast Knights of Pasquale De Vita, Mirza Muratovic, Christian Braimora, all on debut, all scoring goals, and Kai Tipaldo adding 2 off the bench. Pengelly using his strength. Duckworth. Duckworth, there's a deflection that's taken it wide. I don't think it would have made much impact on the end result, but it would have meant that Lions were finishing on a high. They may yet finish on a high. We are in stoppage time, the 3rd minute of stoppage time. Corner is swept in and well dealt with by Josh Langdon. We are in referee Ziyad Ahmetovic's hands. That is the final whistle, and that is an impressive performance for Gold Coast Knights. They have beaten the reigning champions by 6 goals to 3. I'll say it again. Lions 3, Gold Coast United 6. There's a fair amount to unpack, as you'd expect, but a brilliant start to his coaching career for Scott McDonald. The 38-year-old couldn't have dreamt of a better opening. Couldn't have probably thought of a tougher opening either, particularly when Tommy Jarrett opened the scoring in the 18th minute with a perfect header off a pinpoint cross from Matt Redenton. He might have livened up a little bit when Mirza Muratovic let fly from all of 25 yards with a dipping, swerving shot that beat Aidan Munford, just dipping underneath the crossbar to level things just before the half-hour mark. But then John Carlos Solozano capitalised on yet another brilliant Matt Redenton pass to give Lions the lead again, and then Andy Pengelly extended that lead just after half-time with a controversial goal that may or may not have resulted from Zach Maltby's header when he may or may not have been offside. But after that, Knights were really stung into action. Max Brown got their second in the 56th minute. And then Christian Braimora got their third, their equaliser, just on the hour mark. Then 6 minutes later, Pasquale De Vita gave them the lead. It's an incredible turnaround from being 3-1 down just 10 minutes before, but they didn't let up their Gold Coast Knights, with Kai Tapaldo scoring an easy tap-in the 85th minute, and then an absolute wonder goal in the 90th to really put a seal on what was a hugely impressive first up performance from the 2019 champions. Lions, of course, also lost Finn Beakhurst, who came on as a substitute and then left soon after with what looked like a nasty knee injury. We hope that he is okay. And this has been an excellent start to the National Premier League's Queensland men's competition. It doesn't end there. There's plenty of matches still taking place over the course of this weekend. We've got Brisbane Roar Youth taking on Logan Lightning at Underwood Park at 5:15 tomorrow. Wanderers taking on Peninsula Power, the reigning premiers, at Ballinger Park at 6. Gold Coast United meet Moreton Bay United at Coplix at 6 o'clock as well. Lions, will they take on Peninsula Power here at 7 o'clock next Saturday as well. Gold Coast Knights will host Capalaba next Saturday at 4:30. We will bring you all the action on FQTV from that game and every game over the course of the season. We hope you have enjoyed tonight's match. I'm sure if you're on the Gold Coast, you'll have enjoyed it plenty. Gold Coast Knights laying down a marker with a 6-3 victory over the reigning champions at Lions Stadium. I've been Simon Smav. This has been a Double Take production for Football Queensland. Hope you join us next time for all the action from the National Premier League Queensland. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Good evening.